Okay, so welcome everybody to tonight's Zoom call. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to share some testimonies, some health testimonies, some business testimonies about Plexus. Some of you have heard of Plexus. Some of you have not heard of Plexus. So this will be a great introduction for you. Maybe you're familiar with Plexus. This will still be a great introduction for you because there's some amazing stories that we're going to get to share with you guys tonight. And it's super exciting. We've been doing this now. Megan and I, my wife Megan and I have been doing this now for almost 8 years. And it just doesn't get old because helping people doesn't get old. So this is what we do. And so this is just an extension of that. One of the things I wanted to share is New Year's resolutions. So by now, we're almost to the end of January. Most New Year's resolutions are already shot. And that's okay because we're perfectly positioned to help with the top 2 New Year's resolutions. Do you know what the top 2 New Year's resolutions are? Health, finances. We're perfectly positioned to help with both. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to share our stories, a few stories with all of you about what Plexus has done for us. It's super exciting. It's going to be a lot of fun. One thing I want to know, I don't want to know, sorry, I was reading some of the chat. So there's a chat group, if you're not familiar with Zoom, in the bottom. So one thing that we're going to do, if any question that you have pops up about a health testimony, about a product, about something like that, if it's one of the speakers that's speaking tonight, just in the chat, type Brooke, Angie, Laura, Justin, and then ask the question. At the end, if we have time, what we'll do is we will answer the questions that we can. I do want to respect everybody's time tonight. And we'll address some of those questions if we can. If we can't, we'll just refer you back to whoever invited you tonight, and we can still get the answers to you. Does that make sense? Perfect. So without further ado, I want to introduce tonight's first contestant. I guess not a contestant, speaker. So this is Brooke Slater. Brooke, take it away.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay? We also have country end of the road internet, and I have warned everybody, stay off for the next 30 minutes or so. So we'll see. So like Justin said, my name's Brooke. I was an ICU RN, ICU trauma nurse, and now I stay home and homeschool my boys. My husband is a physician and practices sports medicine here in town as well. We live in Mount Carmel, Illinois. I know there's people from all over right now. So anyway, welcome. And I just wanted to share just for a few minutes why we started Plexus and what we have seen so far. So to back up, over the last couple years, my husband especially and I have noticed how unwell people are. And they're going to the doctors, they're getting medicines, and they're not getting better. And then they have to take more medicines to continue to feel better. And then it's just this roller coaster. And so we started diving into researching gut health, and we knew that there was just an enormous opportunity for people to be better and to feel better when we started talking about gut health and healing and the gut-brain axis. So if you don't know about the gut-brain axis and gut health, I would encourage you to research it. We don't have probably a whole lot of time tonight, or I would be happy to talk to you more about it, but it is a missing link. And I don't know that many people realize that it's connected to so many of our ailments. So we started the Plexus products, and within probably just a few weeks, we noticed, oh, my phone's ringing. Hold on. Okay, I don't want that to go. Sorry, guys. Okay, so we started the products, and almost within several weeks, we realized, wow, our bloating's gone. My husband was off his Prilosec nightly Tums. It happened very, very quickly for us, several weeks. And then as time has gone on, My hormones have been balanced. I used to have horrible foot cramps every single night. So after I started our triplex, our main gut health combo, those ailments have been relieved greatly. So those are just a few of the first things I noticed. But we quickly realized that this could be a business for us, that we wanted to help people. We both went into healthcare wanting to help and serve people. So, there's just been an enormous opportunity to teach people and to help them heal and get to the root cause of their problems. So it has just been an enormous blessing to us in the community. Within this team, we all have the same goal, to serve people and to help people. So whether that's, health or business or a little bit of both, you are in the right place. And I encourage you to reach out to the people who invited you, and they can get you more information, and we can answer some questions, as we go along too at the end. So next up, I'm going to introduce Angie. She is a friend of mine who has an amazing health testimony. So Angie, you're up.
Hello, everybody. Can y'all hear me okay? Okay, so let me give you a little bit of history about myself. I'm married. I was in the military for 24 years, and I'm getting ready to retire from the Illinois Department of Corrections. April 1st, actually, of this year, with 30 years of service. So most of my life, I was a secretary. And of course, I was the girl that always was on antibiotics and just didn't take care of my health. Even when I was in the military, I struggled with a lot of different surgeries. I had 15 surgeries in my lifetime, 14 prior to Plexus, and I've only had one since I've started. And I've been here for 5 years now. So I've had one surgery in 5 years, you guys, which is a miracle, because I was having surgeries 6 months apart when I was having my cervical issues. So I've had 4 on my spine, which is a lot. And I dealt with hot flashes, restless nights. I have not been to work since October 31st of 2013 because I was so sick, you guys. All those surgeries caught up to me, and I was having back-to-back issues. Along comes Plexus in 2017, once I got deemed permanently disabled. And it's rocked my world. I mean, I am off 7 prescription medicines, you guys. I am blown away at how much better I feel. Let's see, I was 220 pounds. I'm currently 160, so I've lost 60 pounds. I used to have sleepless nights, severe constipation, depression, anxiety. I was on medication for both. I was on, I think it was Tramadol. I think it was a pain pill. Well, I can't remember all the medicines because I got allergic to one and then they switched me to another, but I was on 7 of them, which is a lot, actually. Then I had sinus infections and I had allergies. I was pre-diabetic. You guys, I was so sick. And I'm going to be honest, my labs are now excellent. HDL, my LDL are in normal range. My husband, I'm going to be honest, he was a huge skeptic at first, and he had stage 2 kidney disease. And guess what? He is normal. His kidney disease is reversed, you guys, and he takes our supplements on a daily basis now because I proved him wrong. Anyway, my triglycerides were okay, but they're much better now. I'm 52 and my hormones were just like a roller coaster, you guys. And now I sleep good. I feel better. I do still have permanent nerve damage, but it is better than it used to be because I take Nerve, I take Ease, I take our triplex. Megan, I am so grateful you reached out to me and kept following up with me. I said no for 7 months, people. And it was silly of me, I'll be honest. It was ridiculous, but Anyway, it has been a huge blessing for our family and my daughters and Jessica and our son and my other daughter. We all take it. I mean, even our grandchildren take our supplements, and it's huge. And I'm so grateful that you guys introduced it to me. So that's my story. I know it's a long one, but anyway, thanks everyone. I forgot to introduce my friend. I am so sorry. Next, Laura, and she's a dear sweet naturopath, and she is going to come on, and she is next, and I can't wait to hear her story too. Thanks.
These are the last known pictures of Tony, taken when he was 4.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I couldn't figure out how to unmute it. I'm not super techie. So, hi, I'm Laura Koblenz, and I am a certified holistic health practitioner. I was a nurse for 13 years, and I did labor and delivery, NICU, postpartum. Loved what I did. But then in July of 19, I started having hand pain. I was just really struggling with just my hands hurting. I thought, oh, maybe I'm just texting too much. I was working long shifts, couldn't figure it out. Well, so I dealt with that pain for a full year. And then I finally was like, I can't do this anymore. Went and had saw a PT, OT, did therapy, tried TENS unit, tried ultrasound. I mean, went through a whole gamut of things. Finally went over to a orthopedic specialist who did x-rays and said, oh, the problem is you have arthritis and it's bone on bone. And so I was just beside myself, thinking, okay, this isn't an easy fix like I thought, like if it was carpal tunnel or something like that. So I ended up having to have these hand braces, and I wore them for over 2 years. 2.5 years. And when I went back to the floor and told my boss, hey, I got these hand braces and they've helped so much. And she said, Laura, you can't wear those. Like, that's against hospital policy. It's an infection control risk. And I'm like, well, you can wash them and, I can double glove. And I love what I do. I love delivering babies. And they're like, no, I'm sorry, you can't do that. So I got put on short-term disability for 6 months. And it was really a low point for me. I ended up going into administration. I worked as a supervisor, and after my last job in supervising was for telehealth for a local hospital. And I noticed that with 170 patients that I was watching their, vital signs and calling their doctors and all of that stuff, interacting with them, we were just giving medication after medication after medication. And instead of, when they were having problems, we weren't educating them as much on like how to heal themselves. The body was made to heal itself with the proper nutrition and the proper exercise and the proper hydration and the proper sleep. But we weren't doing that. We were just putting band-aids on things. And I just thought, there's got to be something different. So I ended up going back to school, and I got my certification as a holistic health practitioner. July of this past year, I opened my own practice, and I started seeing clients and coaching them on nutrition and wellness and doing, some testing on them and helping them to get better. Well, in November, I saw some posts that Megan had been posting about Plexus. And I had tried Plexus a couple times before, but honestly, I wasn't very consistent. I had little kids at home. I am a 50-year-old mother of 7 and grandma of 5. And back then, I was so busy chasing everybody else and just focusing on everybody else that I really didn't take good care of myself. So I kind of fell off the Plexus wagon. I just tried it barely a couple times. And so I didn't notice anything because I wasn't consistent. So I ended up seeing Megan's posts about Plexus, and I got really curious. And I went over to their house for an event, and was just blown away by everybody's testimonials. And I was still wearing my hand braces during that time. I signed up on November 5th. I started taking some sample products that they had given me to hold me over until I got my products on the 6th. That Friday, I went and saw the surgeon and I signed the paperwork to have my surgery because I just thought, I'm desperate. My pain is a 6 to 7. I had tried injections. I had tried everything possible. And I was just hopeless about it, honestly. Realized I would never work the floor again. And, especially after surgery, I was going to have more weakness. So amazingly enough, God used Plexus that within a couple of days, my pain was a 0 to 3 for the next several weeks. And I thought, this has to be a fluke. But I went and called and canceled having surgery. Said, hey, I don't know what's going on, but my pain is under control and I'm just going to watch this. So guys, I have not worn these braces in 4 to 6 weeks. And I actually just applied and accepted a PRN position delivering babies and working NICU at a hospital in central Illinois. And I never thought I'd get to do that again. And it was a passion of mine. Now, mind you, I still want my wellness, center, but being able to work part-time doing something else I love is amazing. Plexus has been incredible for me financially as well. My first month signing up, I was really struggling, because I was trying to run my own wellness clinic. I'm not married, so I provide for myself. And I was struggling. I had put so many $1,000s into opening my wellness clinic that I didn't know how I was going to pay some of my bills. My first month with Plexus, I made $1,600. My second month with Plexus, I made over $900 and earned 2 North Face jackets. I've already earned some Cowgirl boots for convention. I'm just having so much fun. The friendships are amazing. I feel really good. I feel more youthful. I feel more vibrant. And I just feel like it kind of gave me hope and a life back in so many ways where I just was feeling really down. And so I'm just really blessed. I'm thankful that Megan and Justin took the time to talk with me, to share with me. And so I'm really glad that you guys joined us and that somebody took the time to invite you as well. Thanks so much for letting me share my story.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Angie. And thank you, Brooke. That was awesome. The cool thing about this is that you never get tired of hearing testimonies. So we've been honestly hearing testimonies for 8 years. Not quite 8 years, 8 years starting in February 14th, but almost 8 years of hearing testimonies, and ours included. And I'm going to share mine. I did go through some of the questions, and we can revisit some of those or just ask just on the fly here. I'm going to share my testimony really fast, and then we can open up for any questions that any of you may have. Maybe specific questions about certain products or, anything that you might have. So we've heard from 2 health professionals so far, and we've heard from 1 Army veteran. You're getting ready to hear from another Army veteran right now. And I'm a guy. So I think I'm the only guy on this call, which is awesome. I'll take it. It's pretty cool. So it's a gift, right? Like it's me and then 29 women on a Zoom call tonight. This is great. So, but share this. You can share my testimony with any guys in your life who want to get healthy or healthier, or who you think want to get healthier. Anyway, so back in 2015, we started Plexus because we had tried everything else, quite honestly. And my wife, you'll see her as Megan's iPhone if you don't know her, she's kind of bouncing in and out right now of this. We have 7 children, so we are extremely busy, just like the rest of you. We started because we had honestly tried everything else for her autoimmune issues that she was struggling with. We didn't know that we lived in a house that was filled with mold back then, but we found that out, thankfully. And then after going through several different steps in the medical community, we finally landed on Plexus. And my wife had already done research and was already working with a naturopath as far as trying to heal her gut and trying to heal from the root of issues. And then a friend of ours recommended Plexus. My wife decided to start taking the products, and I didn't really care. To me, from a guy's perspective, how much is it? Like, I didn't really, that was my only concern, right? And so it was $100. So I thought, well, we're paying $500 a month now. So, I mean, 100 is, we're moving in the right direction, right? So she started taking the products, and it didn't take her long. And then she stopped taking the products because her milk supply basically dried up. So obviously we blamed, it has to be the supplements, right? We didn't know that the baby was lip and tongue tied. So once we figured that out, then she got back on the products, and it actually increased her milk supply. So that was interesting. And so she started taking the products, and it took her about 6 months to start seeing some results because her body was so toxic because of the mold. Now, for me, at that time, I was in road construction, so I was never home. So I wasn't in the toxic environment as much as her and the older kids at that time. So she did put me on the products though. And because I had gained some weight because I was leading a Bible study, and a bunch of women, maybe it's a ministry I have, maybe a women's ministry, but I had this Bible study, and all these women would bring these awesome like dishes every Sunday night. So I'd have like funeral potatoes, like all the stuff. So I had gained some weight, and so Megan put me on the products, and I just said, listen, if you put them in my lunchbox, I'll take them, right? So that was the deal. Like, I don't have time to all the stuff. So she did, thankfully, and I started taking the products, and it didn't take me too long to really start to see good results from the products. I lost about 20 pounds in a pretty short period of time. And a couple other things is energy. I did notice energy, and all I started with was the triplex. It's kind of like our cornerstone, our main combo that we use. And we have added some products into our lineup since then, but we started with just the triplex, and I started to see energy, and I didn't need to drink coffee all day long. Now, I still like coffee. If you came over to my house, I'll probably have a cup of coffee with you. But back then I drank 2.5 pots of coffee a day just to stay awake. And then I couldn't sleep at night, probably because I had 2.5 pots of coffee throughout the day. And I started to see, man, I have more energy. And then I was able to sleep better. And for the last almost 8 years, it's the best sleep I've had maybe ever in my life. I share some of these crazy dreams that I have with my family in the mornings, and they laugh or whatever, but it's really a blessing if you have that vicious cycle where you're tired all day and then you can't sleep at night. It makes no sense. If you've ever struggled with that, you know what I'm talking about. A couple other things I noticed for me was inflammation. Now, you've heard ease and you've heard nerve from at least a couple of the ladies that spoke already. Those will help, especially with the ease. It helps reduce inflammation. Also, the triplex we talked about also helps reduce inflammation because it addresses your gut. It heals your gut. So one of the things is I noticed a lot less pain, especially in my hands, especially in my feet. I was 12 years in one form or another in the Army. I spent a lot of years in construction, working with my hands, always on my feet, and the products helped deliver me from that. Was it last year? No, 2021, I actually ran a half Ironman race at 45 years old. Really proud of that, by the way. And I survived, I lived. And so it's awesome. And so the products have helped me do that. And it's been so many other things, little things we've noticed, like my son's eczema went away, mainly by just addressing gut issues. Like your skin, it's interesting, is connected to your gut. Like everything goes back to the gut. Someone mentioned earlier, research the gut-brain connection. Do some research on how important gut health is. So really, let's see. Really proud. Okay, I am really proud of the marathon. I was one of the older guys. My kids told me not to have a heart attack. That was their advice before I went. But I told them I was on Plexus, and it all worked out. So one thing that I just want to mention really fast, we did talk about, this is like a super fast blitz, but one thing we've talked about is the products, and we all started for products. I don't know that anybody on here started for a business opportunity, but quite honestly, that ended up being the case for us. And we honestly just started sharing our story with people. I have a really funny story about how we started. I thought we were going to jail because my wife got money, like, for talking to people in Plexus. It really freaked me out at the beginning. So I was like, no way are we doing this Plexus thing. Like, I'm not going to jail. I've heard bad stories about these things. And finally, she talked me off the ledge. And thankfully she did, because I'll be honest, we just started sharing our story. The same story I just told you is the same story I've been sharing for almost 8 years. And it just doesn't get old, because we see so many people over the years who have the same types of stories. I got off prescription medications. I lost weight. I can sleep. I don't have autoimmune issues. I don't have skin issues, whatever the case is. I have reduced pain. I can walk without pain. Like, there's so many different things when you get to the root. And quite honestly, that's what Plexus does, is it helps us get to the root. We personally have been able to build a big business. I was able to leave road construction in 2017, and I've been home ever since. I'm not the only one that has that story, that type of story. There are many, many in Plexus who have the same types of stories, and that opportunity is still available today. So we can cover more of that real quick before we get out. Does anybody have any questions that we can help answer before we wrap this up? Anybody have a question that's just burning on your brain? If not, what I want to do is I want to encourage you, if you do have a question about a certain testimony, or maybe a certain health issue or a problem or health goal or even business goal that you have, reach out to whoever invited you, and we can get all the answers to you. We can get whatever product information, business information, more testimonies to you, whatever you need to be successful. Quite honestly, that's what we're here to do, is to help you be successful. You're worth it. And I felt bad for such a long time. I didn't even mention, I need to mention really fast, I had gut issues. Like, I was a slave to my gut. And so if you've ever enjoyed that blessing, it's bad. It's not good. And I don't have, I am regular. I almost forgot to tell this. I tell I tell a lot of people this story, but I don't have, I'm regular now. Before Plexus, I was all over the board. It was whatever my gut wanted me to do that day. And so you're always guessing. You have no idea what's going to happen. But just by healing my gut, just by improving my gut health, I don't have to deal with that anymore. Thankfully. So before we get out here, remember, if you have any questions, reach out to whoever invited you, whoever cared enough to invite you to this call. Just reach out and ask questions. It doesn't cost anything to ask questions. And just, what if this changes everything for you? I know it did for us, and it has for a lot of other people. So don't be afraid to ask questions. There are some things available if you are just ready. If you're ready to get started, there are some free enrollment codes that are available. So to sign up, the enrollment fee is completely waived. And also a 10% off of your welcome pack, which is your initial order. So there's some great savings, and this is a great time to start. Now that incentive won't last forever. You got just a couple of days until that goes away, but why not take advantage of it? You've heard all the stories here tonight. And really, that's about all we have to say. If there's no other questions, then we will sign off here. But I appreciate all you guys coming out tonight. There was 32 at the top of the call, 32 people on the call tonight. That's one of the best Zooms we've had in a long time. So I'm really proud of all of you guys for showing up and making your health a priority. So we're signing off. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon.